STAKK Nation.
Champions.
Bienvenue sur la channel. Oui, oui. Well, listen, we are not a French channel. But if the situation called upon it, please understand that we are multi-talented individuals. And we can use ChatGPT to quickly translate ourselves into French. There we go.
Or that new AI put on your body and then it to translate it for you.
Yeah, that situation there, man. Listen, I know that technology is great and everybody wants to innovate and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to bash it. I'm not trying to call it a stupid technology. But I think that there was a massive, massive blind side which those people totally ignored. Okay. How I see it, if you're not familiar, by the way, what Double is talking about is this device called the pin.
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Personal pin or something like that.
Yeah, and it's it's an evolution of the phone or the next generation of the phone. But we'll get to that later. I think that those people had a massive blind
spot. Yeah.
And it is, I get it. It is an incredible package put together. Works phenomenally, absolutely spectacular to see. But let me ask you this. In the summertime, when you're just wearing a t-shirt, how are you going to carry that pin?
Because of the weight of the pin on your body?
No, just in general. The weight is definitely there. It's definitely going to be dragging on your shirt.
Yep.
Right? But as an accessory, fashion accessory, now you're walking with this thing on your chest. What do those radioactive waves means? I mean, you're already carrying a phone, so there is a radioactivity there. Then when you go home, at what point do you put it down? If you're sitting at home and you want to interact with your phone, you could just go, here's my phone, right? Listen.
Adoption. Today we're talking about that.
Listen, not all technologies, okay, are meant to be mass adopted, okay? It's a great technology, and I think it's one of those things that it's going to show up great and it's just going to die. Sort of like the Google glasses, if you will, okay? But here is a technology that refuses to die because of its use case.
Fixing the biggest problem.
Bitcoin,
ever.
Right? Fixing the problem of money. You could put it that way. You see, Bitcoin has been around now for 15 years?
15-year anniversary.
And adoption has been pushing on in various formats.
With all the attacks.
Right? We have seen, of course, we've also seen the attacks and everything like that. We've also seen many different companies engage with this Bitcoin, as we know. So we're going to look at some of those. And what I want to talk about is what is next. What do you think will happen next with Bitcoin adoption, especially in the corporate space? And what would that mean for the use of Bitcoin, right? If you're not familiar, say you've been living under the rock.
Under the black rock.
Yes.
Believing everything they're telling you.
Exactly. We would like to refresh your memory with a few things that have happened over the past few years. One of those things being Tesla. We can clearly see that Tesla at some point in time was accepting Bitcoin.
Yes, sir.
As we see this article here from The Verge, you can now buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. We all saw this happening. But then Tesla later on terminated this situation due to concerns of ESG, which was really a disappointment. And in fact, this is one of those times where I was disappointed with Elon Musk. This is why I say I always have a love-hate relationship with Elon Musk, because this was a stupid move to roll back on that. But it's fine. He does enough smart things to let it slide. But I think he's still recognized. That's why he still holds.
It's coming
Bitcoin.
back. It's coming back with X, though.
He's coming back with what?
X is going to bring Bitcoin back.
Oh, they're bringing it back? Oh, okay. I mean, he should not bring it now. Does he have choice? Bitcoin is not asking anyone, bro. Just, yeah. If you don't bring it, you will fail. Okay? Now, Tesla is just one of such examples.
Yes, sir.
Right? We also have Square, right? 16 billion payments app Square integrates Bitcoin. What is next? As we know, Square is Cash App essentially, right? And Jack Dorsey, who is a big fan of Bitcoin, integrated Bitcoin there. So would say if these guys are diving into this thing we can only, I think it's a safe assumption that there is a lot more coming into the Bitcoin space.
Square, by the way, is the future banking system. A lot more efficient than your brick and mortar banks.
Absolutely.
Strike announced this weekend that literally almost every country in the world, the Strike app not allow you to transact in Bitcoin. Literally every country.
Something. Listen, man, I do not even know they made that announcement, but when you look at that, you can see how the traditional banking system is clearly outdated. Using the traditional banking system in this day and age is like using Nokia N7. Is it N70? The brick phone from Nokia.
Hey man, those things are still efficient. Just kidding.
It's not efficient at all. It's efficient for making calls. Absolutely. Just the same way the traditional banking system is efficient for
stealing your money.
Now, this is just one case or two cases that we're looking at here. We also look at PayPal, massive company.
And PayPal is gonna die, man. They're stealing people's money too.
Yeah, they're definitely stealing people's money. They're definitely stealing people's money. But before they die, we'd like to take this moment to thank them for doing their part to further Bitcoin adoption.
Yes, sir.
Because all of it, is definitely something that counts towards this massive Bitcoin adoption that we are trying to see here. And of course, we also have people like MicroStrategy. These guys are just piling into Bitcoin like it's no tomorrow.
And that's coming from a security data management company.
Yeah.
They know something we don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Palantir and Apple owns Bitcoin, but they're not mentioning anything about it.
I think they own them. Even if it's not a company owning it, the people in it do.
Microsoft used to accept Bitcoin for the Xbox.
Oh, really?
McDonald's and Burger King.
They'll probably come back.
Even in the bear market, you could get Doge for buying Burger King.
Yeah, they'll probably come back to these things. But we see that these are massive corporations. And like you said, some like Strike now, globally, with that Bitcoin transaction going on, this is going to have significant implications to it's already having significant impacts to the financial system as we know it, right? So I would like for us to talk a bit about this economic implications, if you will. And then we'll wrap this up by talking about what do we think might be next for this Bitcoin adoption, right? So if we dive into the economic impacts of this thing, right? One thing that I will start off with here is the financial stability of the traditional banking system as we know it.
Is it stable? Financial stability, that's what they make you think about. But is that a reality?
Well, listen. If it was very stable, I don't think that this person would be out here. Who is this person, though? That
is the is that the IMF lady or that the EU
IMF chief?
Oh yeah, IMF chief. Yeah, okay, that's her. Yeah.
So she says that the central bank digital currencies can replace cash. Now she urges the public sector to prepare for CBDC deployment. Essentially, what she's saying is, hey, Facebook, we know you're wealthy as heck. You have all this money. You're probably trying to create your own stable coin. PayPal, we know you're trying to create your own stable coin. But no, all of these massive companies who have their own aspirations, this group of cronies is telling them, listen, don't do all of that. We're going to release CBDCs. And that's the way we're going to go.
Fall under our umbrella.
Yeah, so that we can control it all.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be free.
International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina says central bank digital currencies can replace cash. She urged the public sector to keep preparing to deploy CBDCs and related payment platforms, emphasizing that these platforms should be designed from the start to facilitate cross-border payments, including CBDCs. Hey, it sounds like that already exists. I could almost swear there's something. I think it's called Bitcoin. Is it Bitcoin something?
And it's not, unlike CBDCs, it's not threatening your security or your safety
Listen, and
or your privacy,
absolutely
and cannot be hacked. It's not centrally controlled by some superpowers.
exactly. Now, obviously, they want to ignore these things because it's not in their best interests. Right?
Of course, it's not. You saw what happened in Nigeria with the Nigerian e-naira.
Exactly. The fact of the matter is, this Bitcoin adoption as it's happening right now is definitely going to lead to significant changes in the financial markets as we know it, whether or not these people want to accept it or not. Right? It's definitely going to change the traditional banking model and potentially destabilize. It's already destabilizing the existing financial system as we see it. And in fact, it's not being managed properly. We already know this because instead of trying to test and configure ourselves in such a way where we can assimilate and take on this new financial system, we have members of leadership, societal leadership, right?
Call them rulers.
Essentially lying, manipulating things, changing the definition of things as they feel like.
Recession, inflation.
Right.
Oh, come on, man. Inflation is not caused by the government printing money.
Exactly.
We can pick up the dictionary right now and tell you what the definition of inflation is.
Isn't there, I think we have, which one? We don't have Oxford, ladies and gentlemen.
So Webster.
But we'll have something strong.
Yes. It's the big red book.
Listen, let's look at that definition of inflation again here real quick,
That
ladies
book
and
thick,
gentlemen.
man.
I don't know if you guys went to a prim and proper college. How do we even open dictionary? Hang on, let's see.
You don't have to open the book anymore.
Listen, I'm trying to roll into the area. You see, here's the thing. When you're using a dictionary, there's a certain strategy that you need to apply. Okay? When you try, I don't know if many people know how to use an index anymore these days. But story for another day. If you want to learn how to use that one, I got you. So here we are in the section of I.
Look at the
Okay?
Bible.
Yes, you gotta put it like that. This is the sign that this information that I'm sending to you right now is touching your skull, penetrating your skull and landing in your brain. Inflation, okay? A steady rise in the level of prices related to an increased volume of money and credit. Money and credit. Remember that M1 money supply chart?
Boom! To the roof.
Resulting in a loss of value of currency.
Boom, boom.
You recognize that your dollar can no longer buy sweet tea, Arizona sweet tea, right? Okay. The act of inflating, the state of being inflated. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that we have been inflated to the moon and beyond. Let the dictionary rest, sir. Thank you.
From Webster.
Yes. The reason why we read this from the paper page from an ancient dictionary is because...
Not from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Not from OpenAI. From the book.
Yes. You cannot push the information and change the information as you wish on this one. It is written. It is the way we agree to define these things. So let's call the current situation what it is. But let's push on here, double O. Another thing here, right? As we already looked at inflation and currency devaluation. This is something that, as Bitcoin is
fixing,
is being more publicized, right? And some people look at it as a hedge against that inflation and stuff like that.
Yes,
it will definitely distort people's perception of the fiat currencies, especially when they start to recognize that this inflation is only putting them in this situation where they're losing, right?
Yep.
And these people are going to be naturally pushed towards Bitcoin.
Once they open their eyes to allow themselves to get out of underneath the black rock and see what really is going on.
The future. Now, talk to us about market volatility, because people talk about, hey, well, Bitcoin is going to be, if I buy Bitcoin, I'm going to be losing my value.
The price goes down.
Yes.
Right. So
what would you say to that?
As an investor, right, here's the terminology that we like to say. Volatility is the price that you pay for high quality investments. Right? Have you seen
volatility is the price.
It's the price that you pay for an high quality investment.
I like that.
Have you seen the Apple, Tesla stock, those really high value stocks? They don't always go up, especially in their early days, in their founding days.
Absolutely.
This is not when you're established and you're doing the Charlie Munger and what's it call it, Warren Buffett lifestyle, while you're just buying stability and getting paid in dividends.
Absolutely.
No, volatility is for like early pioneering, founding day investment, early start, like Airbnb type of madness.
Yeah.
Spikes up and down until you get to that stable. Like gold has become so stable, but imagine gold in the early days.
It's just cruising. How did it get to the price where it's at right now?
Guess what? A gold,
right?
Yep. Plus, then they did the gold ETF.
Yeah.
People started buying paper gold, and it just coasted.
Listen,
Spiked up and just coasted.
I think when people, it's interesting. I don't want to say people, but when the financial outlets on the internet and wherever else they are talk about volatility, they make it sound as though volatility is negative, as though volatility means your money is only going to be losing value. Volatility works both ways. With anything that you buy that is massive, that gives you that massive return, like you were rightfully explaining there, right? Even like we were saying with Tesla, it got to this point now, but Tesla has also been,
Super
down.
volatile.
It's been down, it's been up, it's been down and up. But there are more people winning from Tesla right now than not, right? So volatility is just a byproduct of market activity. I would say, no more, no less. It is not good or bad for anyone. It is what it is. It's just the activities. However, when you look at something like a fiat currency, about 100% of them, right? Because we can just take the strongest fiat currency out there, which is the US dollar, and use that as a measuring stick, right? And we'll see that the dollar has only been trending downward. Hasn't gone up. It's not volatile, I guess. It has a steady path to failure, is what it's looking like. So I think this is one of those areas where Bitcoin, for sure, is going to be changing the face of the market, especially for corporations. If you are storing your value in a currency that is only losing and losing, I find it hard to make a case where you feel okay with continuously inflating your prices to the point where consumers can no longer afford anything and expect to be successful. I think companies are successful because we make them successful with our purchasing. So in this case, we have a situation that is global, and it'll be interesting to see what comes next as far as corporate adoption.
I'll give you a good example.
Yeah.
For someone that has a business in Nigeria,
Right.
you make your money in Nigerian naira, which is the Nigerian currency, which is right now about 1,000 naira to $1.
Damn.
So imagine if you've taken a loan from the IMF in the US dollar,
Right.
and your currency in the country where your global business is, the value keeps going down. You can never pay off that debt, especially if it has interest. Countries are doing that.
Every time you convert back to pay the debt, you're only getting less and less dollars.
And the dollar itself is also deteriorating. So you can't even catch up with the killing of the dollar as well. So as a global company, it makes sense to transact in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because not only do you not have to worry about the exchange rate, it's globally accepted everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not centrally controlled. You're not worried about what this country is doing to their currency and what the other country is doing to their currency. It's a global currency.
Yeah.
So your transaction process, your transfer of funds, and people are like, oh no, it's going to cost capital flight. No, if the country that you're in does a great job servicing its people and providing and good governance, you will not have to worry about capital flight. You actually have a lot more income coming into your country.
That's damn. That's actually a very good point. So that's such a good point, because this is what just made me think of. So it's not capital flight if your country is on the Bitcoin standard.
Nope.
Because your company is where the money is. Your country is where the money is.
You see what's going on in El Salvador?
Oh,
people are flying to El Salvador like no man's business right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So instead of fighting the thing, you should join it.
It's better for you, actually, as a matter of fact. Just have good governance. You will have a lot more inflight. I mean, the US dollar, why people are using the US dollar right now is because of the value that they get from the US dollar.
Yeah.
US dollar. But as that is dying and people are realizing the theft and the fact that it has no value, but you have something else that has a better value, it's a lot much easier. It's better for your country.
Absolutely. Listen, let's look at the future. Our speculation of what we think is going to happen here. For one, I think major corporations will likely start holding larger portions of their assets in Bitcoin. I think it's going to happen. I mean, Tesla has been doing this. MicroStrategy has been doing this. And I think if there's any company that has been observing MicroStrategy, how are you not jealous? How are you not jealous? You might never ever make this level of profits. I mean, look at BlackRock.
Vanguard.
They must feel like death knowing that if they buy Bitcoin, they'll just make MicroStrategy more richer than they are.
Fidelity.
Okay.
JP Morgan Chase.
Cross-border payments. Okay, are about to be completely changed forever.
MoneyGram. Western Union. Those guys are.
Yeah. So, which will speak to the point you were talking about when you borrow money from the IMF.
Yes, sir.
If the IMF cannot give you that loan in Bitcoin, you probably should not take it.
Tell them.
Which means the IMF needs to start buying Bitcoin.
They need to.
Or they could try. They could keep trying to push CBDCs. They're going to lose that battle.
Big
But
time.
you know, these people never recognize until they have lost, and then they try to shove some madness down people's throats. This is so incredible. We're living in a time where there is an asset that is just out there, and it is anybody's game. Nobody knows who the winner is. Nobody is an expert. I don't care. By the way, did you see they said Kathy Wood is now a Bitcoin expert or something like that?
She always be experting on everything, man.
Yeah. We're experts too now. It's all good. We're all experts.
Bitcoin to $4 million. She said that in the last bull market. Oh, Tesla to $1,500. That thing crashed like hell.
Madam, you've ruined everybody's portfolio. You know,
I lost so much money because of that woman.
look at Meet Kevin, man. Yeah, the guy is now looking all his keys. Listen, this woman wrecked Meet Kevin's portfolio so hard. This guy started coloring his head.
Hey, but I have to say though, Palantir is coming back. I'm glad about a lot of those.
Oh, it almost sounds like there's a word out somewhere that made that start coming back.
Hey,
Yeah,
Palantir makes money when there is instability around the world.
yeah, I can see that. You know, here's one thing though. If we have Palantir, should we feel bad about buying prison stocks?
Oh man, don't make me feel bad because I will never touch a prison stuff.
Listen, man, I'm not here to make anyone feel bad. Okay, I own Palantir as well, even though I sold a bunch of it when it came back recently because I've been sitting in the negative forever. But hey, killing stocks, prison stocks, who knows?
Lockheed Martin.
Hey, you know, all of these things. But this now also brings us to the political sphere, right? We see here that U.S. presidential candidates, this is Vivek, vows to protect Bitcoin from government interference. I'm just going to read this little snippet here. Then I'll get your take before we wrap this one up, double up.
Let's go.
So you see the U.S. presidential candidate Vivek says that government is threatened by the existence of Bitcoin. You're hearing it from a presidential candidate. You've heard it from the World Economic Forum. You've heard it from the IMF. You've heard it from the banks themselves. The reality of the threat is right here. It's already happening to them.
Shaking them in their boots.
You know, trying to move them, trying to rush into CBDCs. CBDCs cannot succeed while Bitcoin exists. These two things that thing cannot dominate Bitcoin. It cannot dominate the crypto space. These things, you have to shut down all of this for CBDCs to be the one and only currency that people use. This is not solving the problem.
They cannot protect my social security number. How are they going to protect my money?
There we go. How do they plan to even enforce these CBDCs? It's already failed, but nobody tell them. Okay, they'll find out. You see, the cryptocurrency becomes, as the cryptocurrency, he emphasizes that if the cryptocurrency becomes more popular, it will create a threat to the incumbent status of the Federal Reserve itself. I think it's already doing that.
But the Federal Reserve is a private company. It's a central bank.
We gotta let that Federal Reserve.
We gotta
go,
let it say bye bye. You've done your damage.
Some things run their course.
I know.
Some things run their course. I think this is one entity that has run its course, and it just needs to be shut down.
Yeah.
When even Obama admitted this, that we thought capitalism was the best approach or the way the economy is set up right now is the best, but it is not.
What?
He even admitted that
And
most
this is
people
recently.
Yeah, he even admitted that most people are recognizing that the economic system that we have right now is a scam. His words, he used that word, it's a scam. And he was not disputing it. He was not disputing it. If you're wise, you know. He promised to ensure the government is staying the heck out of the business of those who are innovating.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But he's also a politician, and we know that politicians lie to the moon.
But you know what's funny though?
What's that?
Argentina right now, presidential election.
Yeah.
They're doing the overrun. Both presidential candidates said they were going to push Bitcoin.
I mean, they have no choice at this point. I mean, in fact, I will believe those guys more because I think those guys are in more of a position where they are feeling the disadvantages
of IMF,
of interacting with the SWIFT system.
Yep.
Right. So I think those guys have more of an incentive to truly try to shift their country away. Because we talk about all the time how the IMF gives these people these predatory loans and so on. And then you see El Salvador sitting right there and they've paid the IMF for so much of those loans that they have taken with Bitcoin. I think the incentive is there. But in the Western world, where these people are the IMF, the World Bank, all of these things, what is their incentive to push this thing forward? Vivek himself, I think at some point in time, if you start rolling back, which is what they like to do, right? Looking at their background, who is giving him money, who is in support of this kind of idea, I think that you see that he has limitations. Whether his intentions are good or not,
you're right.
There are limitations to what they can do.
Even BlackRock with their old Bitcoin push now, they have an agenda.
Oh yeah, they definitely always do. And the agenda is for them to win. That's the key thing. So I think as a society, it's time for everyone to start thinking about how they can also secure their financial strength against all of these things, right? So, which now brings me to the final point here. What do you think is the future of this Bitcoin adoption from the corporate standpoint? Yeah, what's that?
I got another bad joke.
Yeah, go for it, sir. We're all about bad jokes here. I will never miss opportunity to hear bad jokes.
This is bad. So you know our corporations use sex and alcohol to sell products. You know, it's always a beautiful woman selling a Mercedes on Christmas.
Yes.
I still think it's the same thing. Just like you market all these wonderful products with beautiful women towards on TV. Do the same thing with Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is sexy.
Make Bitcoin look sexy.
You know, I tried to attempt that already. I tried to talk to this one lady. I met this one young lady. And I was trying to get her on the Bitcoin vibe, to get her to start talking to other people about Bitcoin. But she fully rejected it. But, you know, it's all good.
But this is corporation level marketing.
That's true. I know.
You know, build sexy apps.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of that, then, let me ask you, do you think, speaking of sexy apps, do you think Apple is going to come up with something like a Lightning wallet soon for Bitcoin? Because I think companies like, you know, Apple, Google, all these, you know, front companies and so on and so forth, if they're able to, if they should implement something like, hey, look at this, we're releasing a Bitcoin wallet for your phone or a Lightning wallet for your phone, I think that this is going to definitely do its part to massively, essentially at that point in time, it's Bitcoin is here and it's ready for everyone to use, even though you could use it from your Cash App right now.
Yeah, so one of the biggest thing with Bitcoin adoption lately is that a lot of companies are trying to come up with a solution to be your bank in the crypto space, where they can help you hold your value, because apparently you can't trust yourself. So there's a lot of companies trying to come up with digital wallets. Apple already has a wallet. They're currently working on a crypto wallet to hold your wallet for you.
Right.
X.com is already coming up with one. Robinhood is saying you have a Robinhood wallet. Coinbase has a Coinbase wallet, right, to hold your value for you. You could hold your own value, but apparently you tend to want to trust the third party because the system tells you get FDIC insured because they can have some kind of insurance on it for you. You could do the same thing too, though, but this is where I see some of that adoption going, making it more sexy, making it more accessible.
Yeah.
You know, maybe them holding it for you and then doing the banking magic with your store of value while you have it stored in their wallets.
Yeah, I don't think the banking magic will work in this situation by the nature of how Bitcoin operates.
Yep.
Obviously, yeah, maybe for other cryptos and things like that.
Yep.
But I think that as long as the implementation is there and it allows for payments using Bitcoin, which essentially means that all these big corporations are now backing and essentially what would you call, you know how you talk about like, getting the hot chicks and having them do the marketing.
Yep.
I think these corporations are the hot chicks of Bitcoin.
They are. They're gonna bring the volume back. They're gonna bring the people believing, because again, like we said at the beginning, they've been under the rock because the rock tells them what to believe in. But once the rock says, "Okay, I've been enlightened. Now it's time for you to also get on board," then you have a lot of people come out from underneath the rock to start saying, "Oh, I never got it." You never got it because you just never left from underneath the rock to go think about it yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to keep doing it out of necessity, not by choice. That's the thing about it. Remember I said before, Bitcoin will bring all these biatches to their knees. Okay. Any final thoughts on this one, Double O? We can wrap up this video. I think this was an awesome one. Very informative.
That was good. Yep.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us know in the comments what are your thoughts on the trajectory of Bitcoin adoption as it is. Do you believe that corporations will fully step into and embrace Bitcoin and its use?
Governments too, by the way. Yeah.
Governments have no choice. Your public servants, you will all accept Bitcoin because we said so.
You are our servants. Just they don't act like it though.
Hey, listen, man. Don't worry. Bitcoin will remind you. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video, share it with your friends, etc., etc. And we're also over there on X at STAKK.
X gonna give it to you. It's gonna give it to you.
Oh, damn, that's DMX, bro. Yeah, rest in peace, champion. And of course, we're also on Spotify as STAKK. Until next time, praise and out.
Double O.